Hello, part 2 on the fear front. I'd like to just explain, if I may, as much as I can sitting here at the bottom of Africa, I'd like to explain what happens when you come to me for a session and just talk a little moment about energy fields. I think I've said before, well I have said before, that everybody has an energy field around them. And the miasma I've talked about is in that energy field, so it's up here somewhere. You know, if you look later on this website, I say that the hippocampus is the place where the memory antennae are. You can't find memory in the body. I think that, forgive, the medical profession spent a long time looking for memory in the body and you can't find it, although there is memory in every cell. But the big memory banks are out here somewhere. They are like the internet cloud. And the miasma is in one of them, but it's linked to you, all the bits of you, through the antennae that come through your nervous system and through the hippocampus. Now, when you come to me, we chat, and as we're chatting, your energy field mixes with my energy field. And if you can think of them as two concentric circles, then they overlap in a lovely almond shape, which is called a vesica piscis, which is the vessel of the fish. And that vesica piscis is the most expansive shape. It's of the human birth canal, women, and it's also the shape that turned the Roman arches in architecture into the Gothic, because the top half, or all of the vesica piscis, but in architecture, the top part of vesica piscis, that arc, is the greatest facility, shape of the greatest facility for load bearing. Now, in that place between the two interlocking circles, when we are with somebody, talking with somebody, interacting with somebody, what I do is I ask you just to think for a moment of something that really causes fear for you. And what will happen in your body is your chest will perhaps tighten and your tummy will tighten. And I don't allow it to happen for longer than a couple of seconds, because this is not the old style lesson, bless his heart, Freudian, let's scrape the barrel out till you're bleeding. No offence, dear belated Freud, but this is just for me to catch the sense and the flavour of the fear. And then I work on that for you and I take it out of your energy field. With your permission, and I do that with focus and joy. And I explain to people who are with me that if, for instance, you are a footballer and you know that Saturday is a big game, maybe a needle match, then already parts of your body, at the thought of that, parts of your body are starting to anticipate fearfully what's happening. So already, before you even get onto the pitch, you have this antenna in your body attracting fear. And if you've got your little miasmic cloud, you know, that's fueling it, which is not very nice. So we want to break the synchronization between that miasma, or that focus that you have, that preempting of what something will be like. Now, one of the joyous things that's happened to me in recent years is that I've stopped living in the future. Oh, things will be great on Friday. You know, when work stops on Friday, it'll be great. Often not. Or thinking too much about the past. I'm living in the now, which many people are. And the advantage of the now is that it's not filled with memory. So the now can't be corrupting unless you allow it. It can't corrupt how something is going to be. Now, I am not a woman who is critical. I used to be very critical and self-critical, but I really try. But with respect, say if you're a footballer, it's very hard, because not only are you being watched by all of the thousands and maybe millions of people, but you have an assessment of you going on as to your worth. So your clouds up here, there are many clouds. Now, there are two ways the body, many ways, but two I want to think of, in which the body helps itself to feel sufficient, and that is through the ego, and also through the memory of how it reacts. Wind, there's blowing wind over there, around here, at the bottom of Africa, on a hill. So the ego is difficult, and particularly if you're a celebrity, the ego can be very hard and have its own power games with you. The mind can be very miserable in its power games. So the ego will push you out there. Oh, I'm going to be great. But at some point, there is a sort of ricochet effect going on between the ego and the memory banks and this miasma. It's a horrible ricochet effect, because at some point, wham, in the game, if things aren't going as you had hoped and planned, then the ego deflates, and it's keen on self-prophecy, the old self-prophecy thing, you know, that, oh, the mind starts saying, I told you so, we knew this was going to happen, I knew it was going to be terrible. And then all the defence mechanisms come out, and of course the team start reacting in a similar way. And it's a bit of a, I want to say breakband situation, I don't know whether that's a word, but of course everything then starts to spiral. And for a woman who works with energy, I can see in a sort of physical way that the energy on the pitch, say, is collapsing. Now, when energy collapses into itself, it is lethal. It is lethal because, with respect, there is nothing more disabling than a collapsed energy field. And that really does happen. I notice it in public games. I suppose, I don't know, but the morale of the team goes down, and that seems to go into the body. And sometimes somebody will come up at the last moment, or somebody will come off the bench and inject a great last-minute something. But you can see on the field that there is a moment of recognition, of realisation of, if you like, the losing team, when all is just about ready to be lost. Now, what I do and what I can do is I can help you with that as an individual in the team and as the team to burst that, so that that doesn't spiral down. I teach anti-spiraling, if you like, anti-spiralization, what a lovely name. But it's good, it's joyous, and it teaches you to throw that out and to focus on the goal you want. And then you can focus with your actions to bring about your desired result. So, please come. Very good in business too. Let's just see. Thank you for listening.